songs.
The forward block.
Kindly share a few words with us.
The forward block.
Songs. So if you kindly share a few words with us.
The forward block, whether it is Swami Sanjayan and Saraswati, whether it's
Jai Hind. Welcome to the platform of Netaji INA Information Center, History That Matters, and we are celebrating Netaji Janchitna Yatra 2021-22. This is Boddhisatya Tarafdar, and we have with us behind the cameras our close associate Mrinmoy Banerjee with us also, and we are right now at the historic Teen Murti Bhavan with the eminent historian Prof Kapil Kumar and eminent history researcher from Bangladesh, Sri Ashraful Islam, and we'll be asking questions to them regarding Netaji and the contributions of Azad Hind Fauj. Welcome, Professor Kapil Kumar and Sri Ashraful Islam ji.
Jai Hind.
Sir, firstly, both of you are eminent members of the high-level committee chaired by our Prime Minister to celebrate the year-long celebrations regarding 125th birth anniversary of Netaji. So, what do you feel, sir? My first question is to Professor Kapil Kumar. Do you feel that we did justice to the contributions made by Netaji?
See, today's declaration by the Prime Minister,
Right.
I think, is a declaration which none other Prime Minister in this country ever dared do. That Netaji's statue will be there at the canopy where that king statue used to be there at that India Gate lawns, Rajpath. So I thank the Prime Minister for such a daring initiative to take, because this thing had been going for a long time. And some people wanted Gandhi statue there, someone else and all. But to put up Netaji's statue over there, the real author of our freedom, who had scared the British into leaving India, it's a great achievement. And I hope, that is what I have appealed to the Prime Minister, that the name of Rajput also, we are no more under the Raj,
Absolutely.
should be changed to Azad Hind Panth. We are Swatantra today. So I hope the PM considers my appeal to this.
And we also hope that will be done someday. And I would like to ask you, sir, being an historian yourself, how do you assess the contributions of INA and Netaji for finally getting India free?
See, don't forget one aspect, that the British ruled India through Indians.
Right.
And the biggest shake to that empire came in 1857, when the soldiers of the Indian army under the British, in league with the people of India, the princes of India,
Right.
challenged the mighty British Empire. And they started a trend. Learning from 1857, the Gadar party wanted to bring out a revolution in the country by making the Indians working under the British army revolt against them. And they tried. This was the Lahore conspiracy case where Raj Bihari Bose. You see, we must remember Raj Bihari Bose also,
Yes, sir.
who had toured the various cantonments in Punjab, preparing the army to revolt. And as happens in this country always, there are some traitors like we have today, who leaked out the plan. And people were arrested and the trials were done, Lahore conspiracy came out, and Raj Bihari left the country as a secretary to Gurudev. That was his passport to Japan, where he carried the same message all throughout and was mobilized. Now, one thing I'll reveal to you, which very few people know, I think hardly know, because these latest CIA reports
Please, sir.
have come out.
Yeah.
that Netaji in 1939 itself was in touch with soldiers serving in the British India. The first platoon of Punjab regiment, which crossed over to INA, Azad Hind Fauj, in Burma. 4 soldiers of that platoon had been in touch with Netaji since 1939 when the platoon was posted in Calcutta. This is from the archival records.
Okay.
Where these people were later on tried by the British and all.
Okay.
7 of them
Okay.
mentions that. That makes one thing clear.
Mm-hmm.
The other important thing is that this is from CIA records that Netaji had formed an organization named M Organization.
M organization.
M Organization
Okay.
in 1939 itself.
Okay.
And the CIA reports mentions in that the various office bearers of that organization.
And as per your understandings, what that M stands for?
You see, the CIA fellows are saying it's from the motto, that all.
Okay.
But my understanding will be if I have to interpret through Netaji's works and speeches,
Right.
it could be Motherland Organization.
Acha.
Yeah, Matri Organization, something like that.
Oh, something
the
like
service
that.
of Motherland.
Right. Right.
And in this, the CIA reports mention that they had their commander of sabotage, commander of this, commander of that, in different parts of the country. And very interestingly, all the followers of Netaji in India, of the forward bloc, whether it is Swami Sanjayan Saraswati, whether it is Sardar Kavishar, whether it is Master Tara Singh, or any of his other colleagues, they are all termed as German agents by the CIA report. Earlier, CIA came to in 47, I think, it's by the earlier agency,
Okay.
but published by a CIA report. That is it. And this organization, through the Japanese consulate in Calcutta, had established links with Rashbihari.
When he was still in Japan at that point.
He was in India at that time.
At that point of time.
And there is a CIA report in Calcutta, those declassified files, which mentions that Bose has entered into a secret pact with the Japanese.
Okay.
And we are inquiring into that.
Okay.
There is a very interesting report, incident mentioned by K.M. Munshi in his book. Munshi says that in 1939, the Viceroy sent me an intelligence file.
Okay.
And that file is to be shown to Gandhi. And in that file he says, the intelligence report is that Bose is in touch with Germans. And he says Gandhi was surprised. I showed it to Gandhi, and then Gandhi gave it back to me, and I sent the file to the Viceroy. He acted as a conduit between Viceroy and Gandhi. And there are many such instances of Gandhi working on Viceroy's advice on peace movements and all that. Bihar Kisan Sabha, etc. Mentioned in my earlier ones. Now, and then Rajmohan Gandhi in his book, he supported the same statement of K.M. Munshi. So this is now very clear in front of me that why Bose was opposed for the Tripoli session by Gandhi. It was done clearly at the British summons. Very clear now, very clear. Why should otherwise? And you see, he is the only elected president in the history of the Congress. So if Gandhi cared for the people's verdict, then why should Bose be forced to resign?
Absolutely.
So this is an important thing. And this M organization context where Bose maintained when he was in Afghanistan. But prior to that, there is another thing which has been ignored totally by our historians. A.M. Sahib, the minister in the
Azad Hind government.
Azad Hind government, and earlier Rai Bihari Bose total supporter who established the Indian Independence League and all over there. He mentions that in 1940, two persons were sent to India by Rashbihari Bose. One was Sati Sahai,
Okay.
A.M. Sahai's wife, and the other was one Arun Datta, who came under the pseudo name.
Okay.
Now, to get Sati Sahai to India, these both husband and wife, they fought among themselves for 3 months so that the neighbors could hear them fighting.
Okay.
So the British thought that the marriage is breaking
Okay.
and this woman applied then to want to go back to India.
Okay.
So she was permitted to go back. And she came. And she met Netaji. Because she came from the family of Chittaranjan Das.
Achha.
Sati Sahai. She was married. She had studied at Shanti Nikeshan only.
Okay. Okay.
And married to A.M. Sahai in 27.
Right.
And then she mentions that she met Netaji and gave Netaji the plan verbally what Rashbihari Bose was planning. And Netaji approved it. And she went back with this message to Japan.
Okay.
The other person who was sent, he first went and met Rajendra Prasad. Rajendra Prasad said, because Sahai had worked as Rajendra Prasad's PS when he was young.
Okay.
But Sahai said, "Okay, I don't deal with these things. You go and talk to Nehru and Maulana Azad." He said, when I went to Maulana Azad, who shouted at him, "You are a British agent, you have come to, dig us, where do we stand? And get out from my house." And not entertain me. Then he goes to Nehru. And Nehru tells him, shouts at him again, "What is this? Who wants to, you people want to take the help of the Japanese fascists for India's liberation? I will not support this." And he tears those papers.
Okay.
So Sahai came and reported, but in between Sahai could contact with Sati also. So this fellow, Arun, so he went and gave the message. Okay, your message is coming to Sati has mentioned that Netaji agrees to the scheme. And then Sati goes back and tells him to that. So this clearly depicts the planning and all which was going on. Because Master Tara Singh also had written in 46 only, February, in Sant Sipai, Punjabi, that Netaji had discussed these plans with very few people.
Okay.
And with him also. And he said we discussed the pros and cons with Netaji. And then it was decided that the risks were pointed out. But then it was decided that it's worth taking the risk. So that's how Netaji left. And one thing should be very clear also, it was a very meticulous plan. Though it is said that Netaji left alone, Netaji was not alone. He was sitting in the train all alone and all.
Right.
But the persons who went along with him up to Peshawar, they came back and reported to Master Tara Singh
Okay.
that he has reached safely Peshawar. So consistently, Netaji's plan and all, and you see Netaji has been asking Gandhi to launch a movement. And he says if Gandhi had launched the movement, I would have never gone out.
Right.
And don't forget here another aspect, that in 1942, when the movement was launched, Netaji says that, see, I'm sorry I'm not there, I should have been there. And it's he who gives the program for the movement on 7th August and 31st
Over
August.
radio, over Azad.
Over Parliament, Azad in the radio.
Right.
And that's what the people followed. And it's very interesting that the files are showing that these Communist Party of India people, they are getting all these arrested who are participating in the movement.
Right.
And don't forget that another time also Netaji said that if the Britishers were to leave, listening to Gandhi's do or die call, I'll immediately see to it that there is not a single Japanese soldier on the Indian soil. One very important thing which I brought in my book is the agreement made with the Japanese before the INA moved to the front in Burma. And in that agreement, and it's clearly there that all areas which will be liberated from Britishers, no Japanese flag will fly in those areas. It will be only the tricolor.
Right.
The administration of these areas will be done by Azad for the Japanese. And it also says that any soldier, Indian or Japanese, found molesting a woman will be shot dead immediately. Which is clear comes out of the experienced Japanese. What they did
In Singapore and in other
not actually in Singapore, they're more in China and Korea.
more in China, right?
More in China and Korea.
Atrocities.
So these are some inner aspects
Right.
which have come out. There's certain other inner aspects like Netaji at the war front.
Mm-hmm.
These two places records are available.
Mm-hmm.
The Burma front
Right.
towards India, and secondly, at Mount Popo.
Right.
At Mount Popo, when the fight is on,
Right.
he's there with the troops.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, in fact, I quoted a thing from H.N. Pandit's book where he had put up a quote by a journal, Japanese journal, where he says that, standing by the side of Netaji gives me the feeling that I am standing near that mythological warrior, Nekra.
Okay.
So this is
Right.
something new and totally.
It's great to hear this kind of great information from you. আমি এখন আশরাফুল ইসলামের কাছে যাব, তো আমি নিশ্চয়ই এটা আমি কনফিডেন্ট যে আপনি নিশ্চয়ই ইউ আর এনজয়িং being with Professor Kapil Kumar on the other side, and it's really a privilege to be with him. আপনাকে আমি বলি যে বাংলাদেশের কনটেক্সটে আমরা যখন যাই আমরা দেখি যে 1947-এ we see India getting divided, and that part becomes East Pakistan. আর তারপর আমরা দেখি আবার 1971-এ 1971-এ আমরা দেখি যে আবার there is another partition, that is that part of the world is getting partition from Pakistan, আর East Pakistan becoming Bangladesh. আপনি সেক্ষেত্রে যদি বলেন যে নেতাজি হিস্টোরিক্যালি নেতাজি কতটা প্রাসঙ্গিক সেই হিসাবে আপনার কাজের মাধ্যমে আমি জিজ্ঞেস করছি, আপনার কাজের
আমি খ্যাতিমান ইতিহাসবিদ কপিল স্যারের শেষের যে অংশটুকু সেখানে আমি যোগ করব যে নেতাজি যথার্থ সেই সময় বলেছিলেন যে আমরা ডিফেন্সিভ ওয়ার করছি না, আমরা ভারতের স্বাধীনতার জন্য লড়ছি, আর এটা ডিফেন্সিভ ওয়ার নয়। তো আপনার এই প্রসঙ্গ বলবার আগেই আমার মনে হয় যে আমাদের একটু জানা প্রয়োজন ইতিহাসের পেছন দিকে, আরো অনেক পেছনে ফিরে তাকানোর প্রয়োজন। আপনি জেনে থাকবেন যে ঔপনিবেশিক ব্রিটিশের একজন স্তাবক ইতিহাসবিদ ছিলেন সৈয়দ তওয়াদবাই, গোলাম হোসেন তওয়াদবাই, যিনি সিয়ারুল মুতাক্ষিরিন রচনা করেছিলেন ঔপনিবেশিক শাসকদের পৃষ্ঠপোষকতায়। তো সেখানে আমাদের এই উপমহাদেশের অনেক ইতিহাস রয়েছে যেখানে অনেক মিথ্যা তথ্যকে এমনভাবে বর্ণনা করা হয়েছে যে যুগের পর যুগ ধরে আমরা সেগুলো চর্চা করে এসেছি এবং সেই মিথ্যাটা সত্য হিসেবে প্রতিষ্ঠিত হয়েছে। তো সেখানে এই গোলাম হোসেন তওয়াদবাইয়ের মতো ব্রিটিশ মুক্ত ভারতে এরকম অনেক গোলাম হোসেন তওয়াদবাইয়ের উন্মেষ ঘটেছিল। আপনি যেমনটা বলেছেন যে 47-এর পরবর্তী সময়ে এবং 71-এর পরবর্তী সময়ে নেতাজি কতখানি প্রাসঙ্গিক থাকলেন, তো নেতাজি প্রাসঙ্গিক আজকের দিনে আরো অনেক বেশি প্রাসঙ্গিক, কিন্তু এই যে 7.5 দশক পেরিয়ে এসেছি আমরা, তো এই সময়ের মধ্যে সঠিক ইতিহাসের চর্চাটি হয়নি এবং যার কারণে নেতাজি পরবর্তী প্রজন্মের কাছে ক্রমশ অপ্রান্তীয় হয়েছেন এবং তিনি লোকচক্ষুর অন্তরালে চলে গেছেন। এবং আমরা যখন এই ৭.৫ দশক পরে সাম্প্রতিক দশকে নেতাজিকে নিয়ে চর্চা করছি নতুন করে, তখন আমরা অনেক তথ্য পাচ্ছি যেগুলো আমাদেরকে শিহরিত করছে। আপনি জেনে থাকবেন যে নেতাজি গোপনে ভারতবর্ষ ত্যাগ করবার পূর্বে শেষ যে সফরটি করেছিলেন সেটি চট্টগ্রামে, এবং নেতাজির আজাদ হিন্দ ফৌজ এবং আজাদ হিন্দ সরকার যখন মণিপুর, মৈরাং গ্রহণ করে এবং আরো অনেক জনপদ তিনি অধিকার করছেন, কোহিমা, ইম্ফল, যেগুলো দখল করে তিনি ক্রমাগত এই বাংলার ভেতর দিয়ে ভারতবর্ষে প্রবেশ করতে উদ্যত হয়েছিলেন, তখন মনিরুজ্জামান ইসলামাবাদী নামে একজন নেতাজি অন্তপ্রাণ, তিনি কিন্তু গোপনে ছদ্মবেশ ধারণ করে নেতাজির সঙ্গে দেখাও করে এসেছিলেন এবং পরবর্তী সময়ে এদেশেরই কিছু লোকদের বিশ্বাসঘাতকতায় তিনি ধৃত হন এবং লালকেল্লায় তার বিচারও হয়েছিল। তো আমরা সেই সময়ে নেতাজি কিন্তু একটি সামগ্রিক ভারতবর্ষের স্বরূপ, হাজার হাজার বছর ধরে যে ভারতবর্ষ নৃতাত্ত্বিকভাবে, ঐতিহাসিকভাবে যে বহু বৈচিত্র্যের যে একটি ঐক্য, সেই স্বরূপ হিসেবে যে ভারতবর্ষ এগিয়ে আসছিল, নেতাজি হচ্ছেন তার একটি সামগ্রিক স্বরূপ। তো আমরা সেই বহু ঐক্যের, বহু বৈচিত্র্যের মাঝে যে ঐক্য, সেই ঐক্য কেবলমাত্র নেতাজির মাঝেই পাবো। এবং পরবর্তী সময়ে ৪৭ উত্তর এই ভারতবর্ষে যে খণ্ডিত ভারতবর্ষকে আমরা দেখতে পাবো, সেখানে নেতাজি সুভাষচন্দ্র বসু যেভাবে সুপরিকল্পিতভাবে তাকে অপান্তেয় করা হলো এবং আমাদেরকে এই ৭.৫ দশক ধরে নেতাজির যে গৌরব গাথা, আজাদ হিন্দ ফৌজের যে গৌরব গাথা, তাকে পেছনে ফেলে এমন কিছু ফরমাইশি ইতিহাস এবং যেগুলো গোলাম হোসেন তবাদবাইয়ের মতো ইতিহাসবিদের উন্মেষ ঘটেছিল এবং সেই ইতিহাসের চর্চায় আমরা পল্লবিত হয়েছি। তবে আশার কথা হচ্ছে যে সাম্প্রতিক দশকে নতুন প্রজন্ম নতুনভাবে জেগে উঠেছে এবং নেতাজির চর্চায় তারা নতুন করে আগ্রহী হয়েছে এবং আমরা আশা করব কেবলমাত্র পূর্ববঙ্গ বা আজকের স্বাধীন বাংলাদেশেই নয়, যেটি ভারতবর্ষের পুরো ভূখণ্ড পাকিস্তান, সেখানেও নেতাজি চর্চায় নতুন করে উন্মেষ হবে এবং আমাদেরকে ভারতের ইতিহাস, ভারতের হিস্ট্রি নতুন করে লিখতে হবে এবং সেখানে আমরা প্রফেসর কপিল কুমারের মতো খ্যাতিমান হিস্ট্রিয়ানদেরকে আমরা আরো অগ্রণী ভূমিকায় পাবো, সেই আশাবাদ আমরা রাখতেই পারি।
So it was great to be here. We have got superb informations from eminent historian Professor Kapil Kumar, and Shri Ashraful Islam has also narrated the thing that how Netaji is relevant in present day India and the whole subcontinent. So that was all about from our side. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Netaji.